It's the final grind before war. Dustin Poirier just wrapped up his last day of fight camp for UFC 318, and he's locked in like never before. With Max Holloway standing across from him soon, Poirier isn't leaving anything to chance. From explosive drills to pure power displays, his last session was all business and a little destruction. Dustin kicked things off with sharp focused shadowboxing, not just warming up, but mentally locking into fight mode. Every movement had purpose. His jab snapped through the air, his head movement was slick, and his footwork looked tight. You could tell this wasn't just about loosening up, it was about visualizing the fight, every moment, every exchange. Next, he transitioned to the heavy bag. This is where the pace picked up. Dustin went deep into combinations, working on body head flows and punishing the bag with hooks and low kicks. The power behind each shot wasn't just for show, it was calculated, breaking down an imaginary opponent. He stayed in motion, barely giving himself time to breathe, mimicking fight-level intensity. His conditioning is elite. And then came the punch machine, and yeah, it couldn't handle him. During a power drill, Dustin landed a right hand so brutal, the machine glitched and stopped responding. His team chuckled, but Poirier didn't break focus. He simply moved on. That's the energy he's bringing, silent violence.
What's up, guys? It's Dustin the Diamond Poirier. I'm here with Hard Hitters UK. Let's get it. You gotta knock some rust off of this whole thing, bro.
After that came a series of speed drills, medicine ball tosses, quick feet ladders, fast-paced pad work, all designed to sharpen his reflexes and keep that explosiveness fresh. His reactions were dialed in, especially in close-range exchanges. You could tell the timing's there, and the snap in his punches hasn't faded even after a brutal camp. To wrap it all up, Dustin stepped into some light but spirited sparring. He flowed smoothly, switching stances, digging to the body, cutting angles. He wasn't just trading, he was calculating, staying slick under pressure, picking his shots, and making every second count. No wasted movement, just pure dialed-in violence.
That's 50K for sure. This guy? I got him a couple times ago.
As he left the cage, drenched in sweat but calm, he gave his team a subtle nod. No words, just quiet confidence. Dustin Poirier is ready, and Max Holloway better be too. Michael Bisping weighed in with a grounded and thoughtful take on the fight. He acknowledged that while Poirier won both of their previous meetings, first by submission in Holloway's UFC debut, and then by unanimous decision years later, those advantages might not hold up this time. Dustin was once the bigger, stronger, and more experienced fighter, but Bisping noted that now, with added wear and tear and recent losses, those same strengths could turn into liabilities.
When you look at this fight with Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway, of course, they fought twice. Dustin Poirier won both of those fights, submitted Max in his UFC debut at UFC 143 way back in 2012. Now, they would fight again many years later at UFC 236 2019. This time it was for the interim championship, and it went 5 rounds. Went to the final bell, but Dustin Poirier clearly won. Again, the older guy, more experienced, just a little bit stronger, a little bit bigger. But all those advantages that he had are now turning into disadvantages.
He also pointed out the toll of recent defeats, submission losses to Islam Makhachev, Charles Oliveira, and Khabib, as well as the knockout by Gaethje. While Bisping wasn't dismissing Poirier's chances, he did hint that those setbacks could be signs of decline, little chinks in the armor that weren't there before.
There's more miles on the clock. He is a little bit older. The wear and tear starts to add up. And of course, so do the losses. Of course, Islam submitted Dustin last time out. Justin Gaethje knocked him out with a head kick. Charles Oliveira choked him out in the 3rd round. Khabib Nurmagomedov choked him out in the 3rd round as well. Now, there's certainly no shame, but what I'm saying is that those become little chinks in the armor. You start to realize that you're not invincible anymore. And
he then turned to Max Holloway, noting that while Holloway is only 3 years younger, he's not so young that Dustin can overwhelm him physically. He reminded viewers that Holloway recently went toe-to-toe with Gaethje and finished him in the dying seconds, suggesting Max still has the grit and fire to win wars.
As I say, Max Holloway now is the younger guy, but he's not so young that you can bully him around. I mean, look at what he did to Justin Gaethje. That knocked out Dustin Poirier, stood there with him, went toe-to-toe, went 5 rounds, and then knocked him out in the final few seconds of the last round.
What makes this fight even more meaningful, according to Bisping, is Holloway's motivation. Max doesn't want to lose 2 trilogies. He already lost 3 times to Volkanovski, and losing a 3rd to Poirier would sting. This is personal redemption for him, and if he beats Dustin, it could position him in the lightweight title conversation.
As well, because Max Holloway doesn't want to lose 2 trilogies. Of course, he lost 3 in a row to Alexander Volkanovski. He doesn't want to lose 3 in a row to Dustin Poirier.
Main history I ain't trying to make is trying to be a man who fought 2 different trilogies and went 0-3.
Not because that would be embarrassing, because it's just who he is. He's a man, he's a fighter. He wants to be a winner, and he wants to try and reinvent himself and go on and become a champion at 155 pounds. You got to think here for Max Holloway, if he can beat Dustin Poirier, he inserts himself into the conversation.
Get a moment, get everybody excited about it. Who's to say that not fighting for a title come at the end of the year or early next year, you know?
Of course, Ilia Topuria, he's the champ. He's probably going to fight Justin Gaethje, Paddy Pimblett, Arman Tsarukyan. One of those, we don't know. But whoever it is, if Max Holloway gets a big win here and then gets another one in the meantime, he is...
Finally, Bisping made his prediction clear, or rather unclear. He admitted he genuinely doesn't know which way the fight will go. While Poirier has the experience and heart, Max has youth, hunger, and something to prove after being knocked out by Ilia Topuria. Whether that knockout softened him or sparked a fire, only the fight will tell.
But never doubt Max Holloway. Yes, Max Holloway was just knocked out against Ilia Topuria, so that could present some problems for him. That could have weakened the chin. Sometimes people get cracked, they get knocked out, and they're never the same again. Or it could have lit a fire under his ass and he's like, you know what, I'm going to show the people. I'm coming to Louisiana to whoop some ass. And I honestly, at this point, I don't know.
Picking up where Bisping left off, Demetrius Johnson took a more technical approach to breaking down the fight, focusing on the tactical options Max Holloway can use to neutralize Dustin Poirier. He highlighted that since it's a southpaw versus orthodox matchup, Max should attack Dustin's lead leg and body with kicks, not necessarily to finish, but to slow down his combinations and make him hesitant. Mixing things up with takedown attempts or clinch work could also force Poirier to keep his hands busy defensively, rather than letting them fly freely.
Okay, now we're in a box. You have kick the legs inside. Yes, when you kick the legs, he's going to try to counter you, but it's a game of I give you this, I might take this. Kick the inside legs, kick the body, right? Shoot a double leg, right? Even though Dustin does have a good darts, he does have a good jiu-jitsu guillotine, you have to mix up, or fight in the clinch, step deep, push him this way. You have to get these hands filled with blood in order to not have him throw those combinations from southpaw to orthodox, orthodox to southpaw, because he's going to do it all.
Demetrius didn't deny Holloway's knockout power, but emphasized that a smarter, layered approach might be more effective. He believes Max doesn't need to beat Dustin in a firefight, he needs to avoid one. By staying unpredictable and keeping Dustin guessing between strikes, takedowns, and clinch entries, Max could tilt the fight in his favor. Turning the focus to Poirier, Johnson suggested a mirror strategy. To beat Max, Dustin would need to break the rhythm of a pure boxing match, kick the arms, work inside the clinch, threaten with takedowns. It's not about going shot for shot, but about creating transitions where the opponent slips up. In a fight where both men usually box for 5 rounds, DJ believes the key to victory is disrupting that rhythm with unexpected layers. Based on his breakdown, Demetrius doesn't seem to lean clearly toward either fighter. His analysis focused on what each man needs to do rather than predicting who will do it. He laid out smart game plans for both, suggesting that the fight could swing either way depending on who mixes things up better. His tone felt more neutral than biased, almost like he's sitting back as a fan of high-level strategy, waiting to see who executes first. Joe Rogan brought a more instinct-driven take. While he did not lay out a detailed game plan like DJ, his comments made it clear where his confidence lies. Rogan reminded fans of Holloway's legendary performance against Calvin Kattar, where Max declared himself the best boxer in the UFC, but quickly pointed out that Poirier already showed he could handle Max's style. He emphasized that people often forget just how dangerous Dustin Poirier is. There was no breakdown of footwork or tactics, just a blunt reminder that Poirier has already proven himself in this matchup. The way Rogan spoke about him showed strong belief in Dustin's ability to come out on top again. Though Rogan did not give a direct prediction, the tone of his comments leaned toward Poirier. He sees Dustin as the tougher challenge and the more dangerous fighter heading into UFC 318.
The fact that Max Holloway, who beats the shit out of Calvin Kattar and says, I'm the best boxer in the UFC, and Dustin's like, hold on,
Dustin
son.
says, hold my hot sauce.
Do you not remember what just went down just a few months ago?
Dude, just hold on here.
Dustin Poirier's a bad he's a bad He really is.
He texted me after the fight because me and Theo, Theo's a big Dustin Poirier fan.
Daniel Cormier approached the fight with a more reflective and analytical tone. For him, this matchup is about much more than a belt. It's a closing chapter in the careers of 2 warriors who have defined an era of the UFC. Cormier acknowledged that while Dustin has won both previous encounters, this trilogy feels different. He believes Max is no longer undersized for lightweight and praised his performance against Justin Gaethje as a potential game changer. If that version of Holloway shows up, DC sees it as a serious problem for Poirier.
The last one. So Dustin Poirier essentially is saying that I'm going to do what I always do to entertain you, right? He said that our gap in years in terms of the fights, it's been huge. The first one in 2012, second one in 19, now this one's in 25. Each fight is a different fight. It's the same guy. But we've been in the game, we've been in the gym, and we fought so many great world-class guys that we are both different fighters every single time you step into the octagon with that person. It could be something very small. It could be very, very small. But inside the octagon, you feel it. And in that second fight, even though Dustin won, through those middle rounds, Dustin felt a new Max Holloway. A Max Holloway that honestly was very close to overtaking that fight. I think that is when Dustin Poirier truly became Dustin Poirier.
Despite all that, DC did not count Dustin out. He acknowledged the challenge in front of him, calling Max a killer, but left the door open for Poirier to overcome the odds. While Cormier did not give a crystal clear prediction, his comments suggest he sees the fight as highly competitive and possibly tilted toward Holloway if the UFC 300 version shows up.
But Max Holloway at 155 looked amazing. If that's the guy that shows up, the guy that fought Justin Gaethje at UFC 300, that's a hard fight for everybody. Everybody. Not just Dustin Poirier. Hard fight for any 155-pounder in the world if the guy that showed up at UFC 300 shows up. This is as big a fight as you can get in your retirement fight, and it's for the BMF championship. My question is, does the BMF title go out the door with Dustin Poirier if he wins it?
With legends like Daniel Cormier, Joe Rogan, Demetrius Johnson, and Michael Bisping all weighing in, one thing is clear, this fight means more than just a BMF belt. For Dustin Poirier, it's a farewell fight in front of his hometown crowd. It's emotional, it's personal, and it's loaded with legacy. Walking away in New Orleans with a win would be the perfect final chapter to a storied career. On the other side, Max Holloway is chasing redemption, not just for his previous losses to Dustin, but for his place in the lightweight division. After his performance against Justin Gaethje, there's a lot of belief in what Max can do at 155. Both men have been through wars, both have something to prove, and now they're stepping in one final time to settle it. Let us know in the comments below, who do you think walks away with the win?